There's a moment in the night when the world feels like it's holding its breath. The clock whispers past midnight, the walls seem to close in, and your thoughts, those quiet monsters you thought you silenced, begin to stir. You tell yourself it's just anxiety, that you've felt this before, but something about this night feels different. Your chest tightens, not from fear alone, but from the sense that something unseen is pressing closer. It's as if the air itself knows your name. You reach for your phone, your mind spiraling, scrolling for comfort, but nothing helps. And then, almost by instinct, you whisper the first words of a prayer you haven't said in years. At first, nothing happens. The silence only grows thicker. But then slowly, the room begins to shift. The shadows in the corners seem to pull back, and the heaviness sitting on your chest begins to lift, as though something ancient has finally exhaled. You keep praying, your voice trembling, your breath shallow, but there's a power moving through the words that doesn't feel like your own. The fear that once filled the room begins to melt into something unexplainable: warmth, peace, light. And then, something you can't quite describe happens. The prayer doesn't just calm the anxiety, changes it, because this isn't just another midnight prayer. This one opens a door. And once you step through, nothing in your life for your nights will ever be the same again. It begins like every other night that has haunted youth, the kind of night that crawls beneath your skin and refuses to let you rest. The clock flashes 12:07 a.m., but time feels strange, liquid, like it's melting between your fingers. You stare at the ceiling, counting breaths, hoping that exhaustion will eventually win, but the stillness only makes it worse. You can hear the soft hum of the refrigerator, the faint ticking of a clock somewhere far away, and beneath it all, a vibration, a presence. You can't explain it, but it feels like the air is heavy with something unseen. Your heart beats faster. You tell yourself it's nothing, just your mind playing tricks, another night swallowed by anxiety. But the truth is, you feel watched. Not by anything physical, but by something deeper, something that knows you. You turn on your side, clutching your pillow, whispering small comforts to yourself. Still, the darkness doesn't move. It stares back, and then, almost without thinking, you whisper a name: God. The word slips out like a secret you weren't meant to say, fragile and trembling. You pause, waiting for the familiar silence to swallow it whole, but it doesn't. The air shifts. The atmosphere, thick with tension, softens, as though the very walls are listening. Your lips move again, quietly at first, stumbling through half-remembered words. Father, please. That's all you manage. No elaborate prayer, no rehearsed lines, just a cry from somewhere raw and ancient inside you. For a long time, nothing changes. You sit in the dark, listening to your heartbeat echo against the silence. But slowly, almost imperceptibly, a warmth begins to grow inside your chest. It's faint, like the first flicker of a candle in an endless cave. You breathe deeper, and the rhythm of your pulse begins to steady. Then it happens, the first sign that this night is not like the others. The shadows in the room begin to move, not violently, not with fear, but with purpose. They pull away from you, peeling back like smoke dissolving in light. Your breath catches. There's no wind, no explanation, but you feel it's something powerful, ancient, and impossibly gentle, filling the space around you. You can't see it, but you can feel its energy, a presence that seems to vibrate through your skin. And then, in the quietest part of your mind, a thought emerges that doesn't belong to you. You are not alone. The words aren't heard. They're felt. Every cell in your body seems to respond. Your chest loosens, your hands unclench, and for the first time in what feels like years, you exhale without shaking. You begin to pray not because you planned to, but because the words rise out of you as if they were waiting all along. Protect me, calm me, stay with me. Your voice wavers, but with every syllable, the warmth in the room deepens. You can almost feel it, like invisible hands resting on your shoulders, like peace descending in a shape you cannot see. The fear that once ruled this hour begins to unravel. In its place comes something far greater: stillness, presence. The seconds stretch. The room feels brighter, even though no light has entered. You open your eyes and swear you can see faint ripples in the air, as if reality itself is trembling with awareness. The anxiety that once screamed through your mind is silent now, replaced by a strange certainty. Something has heard you, and just when you begin to relax, a sound pierces the quiet, a whisper. Not outside you, not from any direction you can point to, but from within. It's your voice, and yet not yours at all, echoing words you didn't choose. Be still and know that I am God. You freeze. The verse feels like lightning striking the deepest part of your being. It's not recited, it's alive. The words carry a pulse, a rhythm, like a heartbeat that isn't your own. You close your eyes, tears filling them without reason. The fear doesn't return, but something else takes its place. Because in that moment, you realize that the prayer didn't just stop your anxiety, it answered it. The fear was never the enemy, was the signal, the summons. The alarm clock ringing to wake you up, and now, something else begins. The next night arrives like an echo, carrying with it the same silence, but something inside you is different. The fear that once crept into your chest like cold smoke feels hesitant now, as though it no longer knows where to hide. The prayer from the night before still lingers in your veins, like a melody you can't forget. You don't know what happened exactly. You can't explain the warmth, the whisper, or the strange calm that descended after years of restless nights, but you know something changed. Something answered as the clock hums past midnight. You feel it again, that familiar pressure in the air, that low hum that seems to pulse just beneath hearing. But this time, instead of tightening your chest, it feels like an invitation. You take a slow breath, close your eyes, and begin the same simple prayer. Protect me, calm me, stay with me. The words flow easier now. The room feels alive. The darkness no longer oppressive but sacred, like a veil between worlds. You open your eyes and notice that everything looks sharper. The shadows on the walls seem to breathe. The air itself has texture. You're not afraid. You're aware. And then something extraordinary happens. The warmth returns. But this time, it's not just inside you, it's around you. The air thickens with light, faint at first, then brighter, golden, shimmering like sunlight filtered through water. The room seems to hum, not with sound, but with vibration, as if everything, your breath, the walls, the heartbeat of the earth, is resonating at the same frequency. You whisper again, almost to test it, God. The light flickers. A presence moves through the space, invisible but undeniable, vast yet intimate. as if the universe itself has leaned close to listen. You don't hear a voice in the way you hear sound, but thoughts begin to form in your mind, gentle and radiant. I never left you. You cover your face with trembling hands. Tears, coming in, invited, they don't fall from fear, but from recognition, because somewhere deep inside you remember this presence. Not from church, not from scripture, but from before. Before the noise, before the worry, before you forgot what peace felt like, you begin to speak not out loud, but inwardly. You tell this presence everything. The sleepless nights, the panic, the loneliness, the mistakes, the anger you've hidden even from yourself. You spill it all out like broken glass, every shard glinting in the unseen light, and the presence listens. You can feel it, not judging, not interrupting, just listening completely. The more you pour out, the lighter you become. And then, once the last word leaves your soul, once the silence fills the space again, you hear it soft, certain, impossible to deny. You are safe now. The words ripple through you like thunder disguised as kindness. Your breathing slows, your pulse settles into rhythm with something larger, something infinite. And then the warmth shifts, it moves upward, from your chest to your throat, to your head, to your fingertips. You lift your hands without thinking, palms open, eyes closed, and for a brief, impossible moment, you see not with your eyes, but with something deeper. The darkness around you isn't empty, connecting everything, your heartbeat, the air, the stars, the unseen face of God. You feel yourself dissolve into that web, not disappearing, but becoming part of it, as if your soul has finally remembered its place in the vastness. You don't know how long it lasts. Maybe seconds, maybe eternity. But when the vision fades, you are left with a silence so complete that it feels holy, and then a sound. A soft knock. 3 slow, deliberate taps at your door. Your eyes snap open. The golden glow fades instantly. The room is dark again. The hum of the refrigerator returns. Reality rushes back. You tell yourself it's just the house settling, but deep down, you know it's not, because the presence hasn't left. You can feel it standing just beyond the threshold, gentle, patient, waiting. You take one hesitant step toward the door. Your breath fogs the air. You whisper, "Who's there?" Silence. And thence, softly, unmistakably, a voice, not of this world, replies, "You asked me to stay." Your heart stops. You grip the doorknob, every instinct screaming to run, but something in you holds still. This is not the fear that once haunted you. This is reverence. This is encounter. You open the door. The hallway beyond is empty, but the light faint golden, and familiar is spilling down from somewhere. Unseen, you step into it, and the world begins to change. The air beyond the door feels different. Thicker somehow, charged with something you can't name, like stepping into the edge of a dream you shouldn't remember. The golden light spilling across the hallway seems alive, pulsing faintly in rhythm with your heartbeat. You stand still, one foot on the cold floor, the other hesitating in the warmth, afraid to breathe too loud. The house is silent, too silent. You whisper again, "Who's there?" But the words feel small, swallowed by the vast quiet. Then, like the faintest echo from miles away, you hear it, your own name, not spoken aloud, but resonating from inside your chest, reverberating through your bones. The same presence from your prayer has followed you here. But now, it's not comforting, it's overwhelming. It's not outside or inside. The air hums, vibrating at a pitch just below hearing, and you suddenly realize that this moment is not happening to you. It's happening for you. You take. The golden light brightens, shifting from a soft glow to something radiant, pure, almost blinding. For a heartbeat, you think you see movement shapes forming and dissolving within the light, like figures made of breath and flame. You blink, and they vanish. But their presence lingers. Every instinct in your body tells you to run, to close the door, to return to the familiar dark. But another voice, the one that called you last night, whispers from the depths of your being, "Don't turn away now." And so you keep walking. The hallway feels longer than it should, stretching impossibly far. The world around you bends and flickers, as though reality itself is being rewritten in real time. You glance at the walls, and for a fleeting moment, you see images moving across them, scenes from your own life. The nights you cried in silence, the moments you doubted your worth, the faces of people who hurt you. Every memory you buried plays out before your eyes in perfect clarity. You want to look away, but you can't, because this isn't punishment, it's revelation. The light is showing you the places where fear built its throne. You whisper again, barely audible, "Why are you showing me this?" The answer comes not as sound, but as knowing, because you cannot be free from what you refuse to see. Tears blur your vision. The memories shift faster, now pain giving way to moments of joy, laughter, love, and the faces of those you've lost. You feel the full weight of everything you've ever been, every mistake, every tenderness, every heartbeat. In that weight, something strange happens. The anxiety, the guilt, the fear, they don't crush you. They lift you, as if the act of facing them has transformed them into something holy. You drop to your knees. You're not praying now. You're surrendering. You let it all pour out, the grief, the confusion, the awe, and as you do, the light around you moves closer until it's touching you, seeping into your skin. You expect it to burn, but it doesn't. It feels like recognition, like home. Then a voice not from outside, but within speaks again. "You have always carried me. You just forgot how to listen." Your breath catches. It's not the booming voice of judgment you were taught to fear. It's the quiet voice of love you've been running from all your life. It's the voice that whispered to you as a child when the world still felt wide and possible. The same voice that tried to calm you in every dark night since. You realize, in this moment, that this presence is not visiting you, it is you. It is the part of you that never broke, never left, never gave up. The light deepens. The golden glow turns white, brilliant and infinite. You can't tell where your body ends and the light begins. The hallway dissolves, and you are standing in a space that has no edges, no ceiling, no floor. It's just being. The pulse of creation itself. The hum you felt earlier now becomes music, a harmony without instruments, a choir without words. You open your eyes, and you are no longer alone. Before you stands a figure, not defined by form, but by presence. A shape of light, vast yet gentle, radiating peace, so pure it feels unbearable. You can't see a face, but you know exactly who it is. Not a vision of stained glass or sculpture, but something older, purer, truer, Jesus. You whisper, the name trembling on your lips. The figure does not speak, but the response fills your soul like sunrise flooding a valley. I never left you. You collapse into tears, unable to move, unable to think. The weight of years of fear and loneliness begins to dissolve in that light. You feel him not as something separate, but as the very core of what you are. You see flashes moments when you thought you were alone, and realize he was there every time. In your worst nights, your weakest prayers, your quietest tears, he was there, not above you, but within you. You ask, why now? Why show yourself to me this way? And then comes the answer that shakes you to your core, because you finally stopped trying to fix yourself long enough for me to speak. In that instant, everything stops. The anxiety that once ruled your nights disintegrates. The emptiness that once consumed your heart becomes a river of light. And for the first time in your life, you feel whole. Not because the world has changed, but because you have remembered what was always true. The light begins to fade, slowly, tenderly, like dawn receding into morning. You reach out, desperate to hold on to it, but the same voice gently says, do not cling to me. Take what you've seen into the world. The glow dims, the air cools, the hum subsides. You open your eyes and find yourself standing in the hallway again, trembling, breathless, alive. The house is still. The clock reads 3:33 a.m. You touch your chest, feeling the quiet rhythm of your heartbeat, and beneath it, something new, stillness, clarity, peace. But you can't shake the feeling that this was not an ending. It was an awakening. And what happens next will test everything you've just learned. The days that follow feel strangely unreal. The world looks the same, but you can't shake the feeling that something fundamental has shifted beneath its surface, beneath your surface. Morning light feels warmer, air tastes cleaner, even silence has a texture now. You move through the motions of daily life, but everything hums with an invisible resonance, like a hidden melody you can finally hear. You no longer fear the nights, because deep down you know what they are now, not punishments, but invitations. Yet on the third night, something calls you again. It's not fear, this time it's recognition. You sit on your bed with the lamp off, breathing slow, waiting. The air thickens, just as before, but there is no panic, no dreadly expectation. You whisper softly, I'm here. And from somewhere deep within the stillness, a pulse answers. Not in sound, but in knowing. You begin to pray again, but this time it's different. There are no requests, no words. You simply breathe and listen. The stillness deepens. And then something astonishing unfolds. It starts as a flicker behind your eyelids, small, delicate, like starlight. Then it grows. The room dissolves around you until all that exists is the light. Not golden this time, but clear, crystalline, alive. And from within it, 1,000 whispers rise in unison, not chaotic, but harmonious, like an orchestra of souls remembering the same song. You recognize those voices. They're human, every one of them. The sound of every prayer ever spoken in the dark, every cry whispered through tears, every plea for peace. The collective ache of humanity transformed into music. It washes through you, carrying both sorrow and beauty, so vast that you can't tell where one ends and the other begins, and then you hear it. The same voice from that night in the hallway, calm and infinite. Do you understand now? You open your eyes, But you're not in your room anymore. You stand on the edge of a great expanse, light stretching endlessly in every direction. There's no sky, no ground, only radiance. And through it, figures move countless shapes made of light and shadow, each one distinct, yet all connected. You feel no fear. You understand instinctively. You are standing in the space between worlds. The voice continues, though it no longer feels external. It vibrates through your entire being. Every moment you felt alone, you were surrounded by this. Every breath of fear was met by 1,000 breaths of grace. You were never abandoned. You were simply learning to see. You fall to your knees, overwhelmed. Why me? You whisper. Why show me this? The answer comes, not as thunder, but as tenderness, because the world forgets too easily. Because peace cannot live in a heart that doesn't know it already exists. You were never meant to keep this to yourself. You were meant to remember and to remind. You look around, and suddenly you realize what this place truly is. It's not heaven, it's awareness. It's what prayer opens when it is pure enough to silence the noise of fear. It's what happens when human vulnerability aligns perfectly with divine truth. This stillness, this brilliance is the meeting point between the mortal and the eternal. You begin to see more clearly now. Each beam of light that moves through the expanse is a human soul, every person who has ever prayed, wept, or dared to hope in the darkness. Their voices weave together into one endless current of love, stretching through eternity. You feel yourself merging with it, not dissolving, but expanding, becoming part of something immeasurable. Then you hear the final words, go back. You flinch. Back to the world. Yes, the voice replies. They are still waking, and they will need to see through your eyes. You want to stay. You want to remain in this peace forever. But even before you can protest, you feel yourself being pulled gently, like a tide receding. The light begins to dim. The voices fade. The hum softens into silence. And then, with a soft gasp, you are back. Sitting on your bed, the night air cool against your face. The clock reads 12:01 a.m. Not a minute has passed. For a long time, you don't move. You simply sit there, hand over your heart, feeling it beat, a steady reminder that what you saw was not a dream. You can still feel the faint vibration of that vast harmony pulsing beneath your skin. You whisper into the stillness, you're still here, aren't you? And the answer comes, gentle as breath, always. You smile through tears, realizing what it all means. The anxiety that once consumed you was never your enemy. It was the signal, the doorway, the divine alarm calling you back to yourself. The prayer that stopped your panic was never about chasing peace, it was about uncovering it, because peace was never missing. It was only waiting for you to remember. You rise and open the window. The night is quiet, the stars brighter than you've ever seen them. You close your eyes, breathe deeply, and for the first time, you feel what you've been searching for your whole life: stillness without fear, presence without demand, the kind of peace that does not end when the prayer does. You whisper one last time into the night, not as a plea, but as truth, thank you. And somewhere, far beyond sound, the universe answers back with a silence that feels like love.